Hi and welcome back to Property Insight, a warm welcome back to 2024. I hope you had an exciting time during the festivities and a fantastic 2023 and that you're going to get back in the game, shall we say, for 2024. My name's Mark Ashworth.
I'm Neil Harding.
And welcome to Property Insight.
Okay, so today we're going to look at goals for 2024 and what are we going to be doing over the next 12 months. So 2023 was a good year, and now we're very much looking for the next 12 months, 2024, and what we're going to do, and what are house prices look like they're going to do. Mark and I have done some searches, and we've got mixed results on some quick Google searches that we've done. So Savills have said that the house pain has reached peak pain in the housing market, and it expects prices to bottom out in 2024. And the estate agency predicts that average house prices will fall 3%.
Whatever that means. My view on this is always based around sentiment. So what's going on in the economy? How does the country feel as a whole? And the best measure of that is by looking at the tabloid press. So basically, have a look and see what the national newspapers are saying, and probably more those mainstream papers rather than the broadsheets, I'd say, just to sort of see and get a feel for what people are saying. So you'll probably see a lot of headlines now saying about house prices and about things crashing and about people not being able to afford mortgages and all that sort of stuff. And really, from a property investment point of view, it's probably not a bad time to buy. In fact, some would argue it's a great time to be buying when others are being fearful. So my view is that if you've got some cash reserves or you've got an ability to be able to go out and find some deals and build those relationships with agents. I was having a conversation actually with an agent yesterday who told me that the number of reductions that they've made this year compared with the number of new instructions, in particular on Boxing Day, which is quite a popular day to list properties after the Christmas period, so that people that are interested in moving tend to look for stuff on Boxing Day. Yeah, the number of reductions that he's made is much higher than the number of instructions taken. In fact, it's completely opposite to what it was 12 months ago. So irrelevant of what the figures are said on Google or by any other sources, ultimately in your area, with properties in your area by people that are selling, it's all about what's going on in that local microeconomy, let's say. And I think that it's probably well worth your while, if you are looking to do stuff, is just to get active, contact the agents, get out there, do some viewings. I've seen a few properties come on the market that are cheap, that are going to auction, and I've also seen quite a lot of reductions as well. So take advantage, right, is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely feels like there are more buying opportunities right now in January 24, and probably in December 23 I was seeing this as well, compared with most of 2023. There are, as you say, Mark, there's a lot more auction property opportunities that are coming out, and I'm seeing a lot of reductions in my investment area as well on houses that have been on the market for maybe 3 months or more, and you're starting to see £10,000, £20,000 type price reductions.
If you want to really take advantage of these kind of deals, I think the important thing is, particularly if you're buying auction, that you've got some kind of ability to finance them. So mortgages, whilst they are possible to get mortgages or bridging finance to purchase auction properties, it's probably well worth looking at your wider network to see whether or not people will lend you some money, private finance on a return where you can act quickly. But equally, there's still deals out there which are mortgageable.
So outlook for 2024 is, it's crystal ball gazing stuff, but we've also found an article in the Times that is supported by or quotes a Pantheon macroeconomics consultancy report where they're saying house prices will increase by 5% in 2024. So there's a range of 3% drop up to 5% increase there straight away. And well, time will tell, of course, but I feel as though there will be a modest increase. It's going to be in the range of that, down 3%, up 5%, but it's probably going to end up being not a particularly massive year. I don't think. I think it will just steady. I think the ship will steady. I don't think interest rates are going to do an awful lot either. From everything I've read, it looks like, well, we've had a few months already where interest rate has leveled out at 5.25%, and that's been stable. It's probably given the mortgage product market a bit of stability, and that's.
I think the longer term swap rates have been affected positively for investors in that particular perspective. So I think that mortgage rates in particular have seen some decreases, not massive, but decreases nonetheless. And I think that even though the interest rate is the same, the actual long-term borrowing for banks is actually, as you say, a bit more stable. And so therefore banks are starting to become a little bit more competitive again, and they want that business. I think they certainly see mortgages as a long-term play. So when you come off that 5-year fix, or they intend to keep your business, and they'll have a customer for a long period of time. They're looking at the lifetime value of that client, let's say, rather than just So it makes it a bit more beneficial in terms of long-term borrowing.
So goals for 2024, really important to set goals as an investor, to give you some focus and set yourself a target, and take steps every day or week or month towards those targets. So Mark, how about your, so I'm going to put you on the spot, how about your goals and objectives for 2024 for property investing? What's your thoughts?
So I've got a deal at the moment which is going through conveyancing, which was a deal that was purchased through a local agent. It's in a bit of a state. So that property is going to be refurbished and then let out as a single let. My goals are to stay in touch with my agents, carry on viewing properties, and just taking every opportunity to purchase, whether that's with a mortgage or not. I'm also looking to reduce some debt on some of my properties, just to reduce the loan to value slightly. My aim is to try and get it a little bit less each year. I think it's around about 50%, I think, at the moment, loan to value. Yeah, with a view that over the longer period, my borrowing will decrease. And that's already started to happen in terms of loan to value, because, of course, the values have gone up slightly, certainly in line with inflation.
Sounds very similar to myself as well, with my goals for 2024 in keeping relationships with estate agents current and alive and meaningful. I think that's really important. And you mentioned private investor finance, and one of the things that I'm finding is a really powerful model at the moment is buying cheap property that's a bit unloved, some sort of a problem with it, probably at auction, and getting private investor finance to fund the purchase. That's working quite well for me at the moment. So continuing to network a lot at property networking events, that's hugely important. We go to one in Cambridge that you host every month, and I go to a number of different property networking events where I've met people I've met and developed relationships that people I've known for years now, who have lent me money to do deals or have led to deals that I've done. So really important to maintain those relationships, and then just being open to the next deal that comes along. I don't think I've got a particular target of must buy 3 properties by the end of the year, or must buy 10 properties by the end of the year. I don't think I've got that, but I definitely want to make sure that I'm ready to take an opportunity whenever it's there.
So just to clarify, just on those properties where you've borrowed private finance, your intention after a period of time is to refinance that onto a typical mortgage product to pay the investor back?
Absolutely.
And after what sort of period of time would that be?
Yeah, so typically it's between 9 to 12 months. It's usually 6 months before you can get a property revalued using a RICS survey to value the property at current market value without having to be handcuffed by either the price you bought it for or the price you bought it for plus any refurbishment works that you've been able to demonstrate you've done to force an appreciation of the value. So 6 months and a day is quite a good time to apply for a buy-to-let mortgage after you've purchased a property, and I've done that before, and then go through the survey and the mortgage application process. So that takes you sometimes 3 to 8 months, but 9 months comfortably.
Yep.
And then repay the private investor, which might be anything between 8, 9, 10, maybe even 12%, and then refinance onto a much cheaper product of maybe 5 or 6%.
Sounds fabulous. And just to finish off, if you are interested in coming along to our in-person property networking event, It's the second Thursday of every month, locally in Cambridge. So if you are well, even if you're not local and you fancy staying the night, then they do have accommodation at the venue that we use. I'll put a link down in the section below in the notes. So please feel free to follow that link and check that out. But in the meantime, I think that wraps things up for now. So thanks again for watching, and we do hope that you found that insightful. And we look forward to catching up with you on the next one.